talk about online courses, adoption, attitudes, and effectiveness of online education. By the time we're done, you'll be able to describe the increased participation rates of students and teachers in online education. You'll be able to compare their perceptions of online courses with recent survey data from instructors and students, and you'll be able to describe general research findings on the effectiveness of online courses. So let's take a look at some statistics. A very recent survey, just released 2018, finds that overall enrollment in online courses continues to increase. As a matter of fact, in 2017, while the total number of students taking higher education courses declined, the number taking online courses actually increased. Out of over 20 million students involved in higher education, over 3 million were taking online courses exclusively. And another 3.5 million were taking some online courses in combination with face-to-face courses. So that's well over 6 million students, about a third of the students in higher education, who are involved in online learning. Now, there's an interesting split in some of those numbers between public and private institutions. At public institutions, there's a greater percentage of students who are taking a combination of courses, online and face-to-face, rather than students who are exclusively online. At private institutions, as you can see from this chart, those percentages are flipped. There are twice as many students at private nonprofit institutions who are exclusively online students rather than taking a mix of on-campus face-to-face courses. But still, remember, less than a third of students overall are involved in online education. Over 2/3 of our higher education student population still hasn't taken an online course. Faculty participating in online education is also on the increase. Over just the last 5 years, we've seen the percentage of faculty who've taught at least one online course increase from 30% up to 44%. So that's significant gain. But remember, even at that level, a majority of faculty have not taught an online course. That's something to keep in mind when we start looking at attitudes later on, because a lot of people don't have that direct experience of teaching online courses, just like students don't have the direct experience of taking an online course, majorities in both areas. Now, looking at those teachers, there are some differences in who's teaching online. We do find that a larger percentage of female faculty have taught online courses. As a matter of fact, the most recent survey as of 2018, a majority of female faculty, 51%, have taught an online course. Among male faculty, that percentage is only 42%. Even more dramatic is the split between private and public faculty. Among public faculty, 59% have taught an online course. Among private baccalaureate faculty, only 18% have taught online courses. So I would suggest in that number, there's a place where presentation may be able to distinguish itself, where we can turn to students and say, hey, yeah, we're a private institution, but we're doing more with online education than a lot of our private school counterparts, the folks we're competing against in the marketplace. But keep that in mind, private school faculty have not adopted online instruction as quickly as public college faculty. Overall, a majority of faculty in higher education still haven't taught an online course. And I would suggest that lack of familiarity may have something to do with a lack of confidence in the quality of online courses. Only 30% of faculty in a 2018 survey agree that online courses can be at least as effective as face-to-face courses. 36% of faculty disagree. They say no, online courses are going to be worse than face-to-face courses. So that's a lot of skepticism about the quality of online education. At private colleges, that skepticism is even stronger. Only 14% of private faculty think that online courses can be as good as face-to-face courses. 53%, a straight majority of private school faculty, disagree. They think online courses will be inferior to face-to-face courses. Now, that feeling goes well beyond those who just haven't taught in online courses. There's skepticism among online instructors as well. A majority of faculty find specific areas where they think online courses fall short of face-to-face courses. Most significantly, 80% of faculty say that reaching at-risk students is harder in online courses. 65% say it's harder to engage students rigorously, and 63% say it's harder to answer student questions, a pretty basic classroom function, in an online course. Interestingly, another survey of student experience at a 21 school consortium where they're in a multi-year process of implementing online courses, students appear to be more sanguine about the effectiveness of online courses. In this 21 school consortium, students were asked to compare their online courses with their face-to-face courses. And 78% of those students in this setting said that, yeah, their online courses were about the same or were better, somewhat or much better than their face-to-face courses. Only 22% of students in this 21 school survey said that no, the online courses just don't stack up to face-to-face. So that's almost 4 in 5 students with a little exposure to online courses who say, yeah, their education isn't hurt, it's maybe even helped by the presence of online courses. But I will note one small result from this same survey, the 21 school consortium, there is still some skepticism among even students. When we look at the reasons that students say they took the online courses, number one reason was, well, flexibility. The online courses fit their schedule better. And that's well attested throughout the research. Flexibility is a key reason why students take online courses. They also cited that, well, the course is required for their major, so if it's required, they don't care online or face-to-face, they're going to take it. And they also cited instructor quality. But a fair number of students in this survey also said they took the online course because they thought it would be easier than the face-to-face course. So again, notice in this survey, it's not a predominant perception, but it's there, this idea that somehow an online course won't be as rigorous as the face-to-face course. That among students, in addition to the skepticism that some faculty have. Fortunately, when we look at the research on online courses, and there's a lot of it out there, we see that online courses are at least as good as face-to-face courses. Really, the bulk of research out there says there's no significant difference in student satisfaction and in learning outcomes between online courses and face-to-face courses. One major lit review in 2015 found that 92% of the studies looked at found that online education did either as well as face-to-face courses or sometimes even better. Now, there are a variety of reasons those changes happen, but it appears that the bulk of the research says you're not going to do any harm going online. Another major lit review was done by the Department of Education in 2009. The studies the Department of Education looked at showed that online students actually were doing better than face-to-face students. Now, the differences were modest, and there were a lot of exceptions and caveats and possible alternative explanations. The Department of Education didn't say, oh, going online automatically makes everyone do better. It could be kind of a selection bias. It could be that students who are ambitious enough to take online courses already have an advantage and are going to do better in any course they take. But the fact is, this review suggested that going online did not lead to any clear degradation of educational outcomes. Students were able to succeed in this setting. And an important part of this 2009 study that I'd point out is that they were looking at research done on online courses conducted from 1996 to 2008, conducted at the very beginning of the online education movement, the beginning of the internet revolution. So I would suggest that this lit review from 2009 looked at online interactive technology that was rudimentary, that was far behind what we have now today, with greater Wi-Fi access, with higher bandwidth, with better connections, with more video and interactivity, with more student experience and faculty experience with online technology. With all the, I would say, disadvantages of year 2000 technology, online courses were still able to produce results as good as, or on average, slightly better than their face-to-face counterpart. Plus, we see that instructors do adapt to online education. The same instructors, maybe they're skeptical about online learning, but in the CIC consortium, that 21 school study that I mentioned earlier, faculty are now in their second year of moving courses online, and now 80% of them report that they're comfortable teaching online. That's up from the first year, of course. And 80% of faculty in this 21 school survey also report, for instance, that the discussion forums help build collaboration. That's an increase from the first year when instructors weren't as familiar with it. The CIC Consortium report thus suggests that a lot of what we need to do to get over the skepticism of online courses is just jump in and do them. Get familiar with the technology, get familiar with the opportunities, and help students learn in that setting. So, to review what we can see, right now in the United States, a third of students and over 40% of instructors are involved in online education. They're taking advantage of this technology. Even with these increasing adoption rates, there's still a lot of skepticism persisting about whether online courses can be as good as face-to-face courses. But fortunately, what we're seeing in the research is that online education is safe and effective. It at least doesn't do any harm, and it still provides opportunities for students to learn at least as well as they can in face-to-face courses, if not a little better than they can in traditional classrooms. So, we've taken a look at a lot of statistics. Here's the bibliography. Don't worry, I'll post this on Moodle as well, so you can review the research yourself on online courses. That's it for this session. In upcoming sessions in this module, we'll take a look at some of the challenges that online education poses and some of the strategies you can use as an instructor to achieve the same or better educational results that you can in your traditional classroom. Thanks for watching.